Manisha Gupta is joining in with a roundup of all the commodity and currency market action. Manisha, over to you.
Sonia, thank you so much for that. Well, I'm looking at the oil and gas and overall energy space where you have seen some profit taking for crude oil prices, even gas for that matter. But the coal prices, they are trading at an all-time highs. And to discuss all of that, we are now joined by Peter McGuire. He's CEO, Exim Australia. Peter, hi. I want to start with coal first because all-time highs there and there is a lot of switch from gas to coal, as we understand, happening in Europe and US as well. So at $460 per ton for coal prices, where do you think we are headed?
Well, Manisha, I think I need to be a coal miner because the profits are just outstanding. So I think it's obviously going to go up from here. We're conscious as far as what happens with Gazprom and there's, as far as European demand heading into the winter. Nuclear thoughts across Germany and certainly across the Eurozone. So I think that coal, I think that's certainly going to trend higher from where we are at the moment.
Right. The gas prices then, and Monday was a knee-jerk reaction. We did see prices run up by more than 30%, and then Tuesday and Wednesday we are looking at some profit-taking continuing into this space. How are you looking at right now, and how do you look forward to the European energy meeting, ministers meeting on Friday? You have the UK new PM going to release a new policy perhaps on oil and gas on Thursday. So these are going to be important days and events.
Absolutely, Manisha. I mean, look, we've got so many moving parts all coming together at one time. You've got new PMs, you've got all sorts of strategies being developed on the fly and how they're going to manage all of this moving forward. And the other side, of course, is that we're only really about, the best part of 8 or 9 weeks until you've got very, very cold conditions, certainly in Scandinavia, and then moving south across Eurozone. So time's ticking for them and it's not ticking favourably. This isn't like we're doing this in March. We're doing it in, the first or second week of September. So it's, yes, we've got to move very, very quickly to see how they're going to manage all of these considerations as we head into a cold winter.
Mm-hmm. Peter, this year we've seen gas prices range between $3.5 on the lower side to almost 10 on the higher side. I mean, that's a huge range that we've seen in this year. For the remaining part of this year, what is the range you're working with?
Well, I think we're going to move higher from here. I know that I've been looking at NYMEX and you're sitting at around that $8 level, so it's given up a fair bit of that hot steam. But I wouldn't be surprised you're going to have another uptick. So whilst you're going to see volatility, we haven't seen any weather outages as far as nat gas in the States. But remembering that you're very close to that, hurricane season, and that can really disrupt the market considerably. So we haven't had that to deal with as yet. So, yes, I think it'll edge up higher from here. I can't put a ceiling to it, but I know it's going to be wild and it's going to be a very, very rocky road.
Okay. And how would you look at the crude oil prices? Because we've seen a long string of profit taking here, and not too many people are talking about 115 now. More and more people talking about 85 or even 80 for that matter. We've reacted to the OPEC and allies cutting production by 1 lakh barrels, but that clearly isn't such a huge number. What are you looking at in sense of demand, especially from China, the strength in US dollar being some of the factors that are weighing on crude prices right now? But here as well, how is the rest of this year looking?
Well, I think that's exactly the first part is we've got a record high US dollar. We can't believe where it's at, 110.50. So, yeah, it's been just extraordinary what we've seen as far as a big push up. Absolutely cratered the yen. Euro was sitting under 99. So, yeah, there's just so much hurt out there. And these are the other side of it. As these currencies crumble, that adds more inflation. So there's the first part. The second part is, yes, I understand the Saudi situation. I understand underwhelming with 100,000 barrels. So, yeah, I'll give it up. I'll say that we're probably in a pullback at the moment, but I don't suggest it's going to stay there for that long.
All right. So you don't believe that this profit-taking or the decline that we are seeing in energy price could last longer? Short term, yes, there's a bit of a decline, but there are just so many uncertainties that could really be supporting these prices going forward. Thank you as always, Peter, for joining us and talking about everything energy, oil and gas in focus there. With that, that's all the time that we have on Halftime Report. Stay tuned. Business Lunch is coming up next.